Missouri is slated to receive more than $1 billion in federal stimulus money over the next couple of years. In the proposed budget legislators delivered to Governor Nixon, a lot of this money was allocated to state projects, including an interoperability emergency communications system, a mass transit system in St. Louis, and new construction at the Ellis-Fischel Cancer Center. But Nixon decided in the budget bill he signed to withhold funding to a number of these projects. He was vague on when the money would be released, only saying that could happen later if revenues exceed expectations. Jason Rosenbaum takes a closer look at what he calls Nixon's play it safe attitude in this week's commentary.
There have likely been numerous and perhaps profane adjectives used to describe this humble commentator, but I can assure you that hardcore gambler is not one of them. A number of my grade school chums can attest to this fact. Several weeks ago, I attended a bachelor party in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The trip did not at all resemble the hit comedy film The Hangover, but most of the partygoers spent a lot of time pressing their luck at Atlantic City's fine casino establishments. While I spent most of the weekend taking pictures of myself inside Atlantic City hotspots and sampling delicious refreshments known as Yingling beer, I essentially passed on the gambling part. Why fritter away money that you have today when you can save it up to buy important things like Diet Pepsi, a foosball table, or a gold medallion of me wearing a gold medallion? This is a situation that should have absolutely nothing in common at all with Missouri state politics. But the 5 or 6 people who've listened to these analyses know better. Governor Jay Nixon made waves last week when he announced some fairly significant cuts to the state's budget. Many targets of Nixon's budgetary acts were stationed in legislation housing projects funded with federal stimulus money. The state is slated to receive well over $1 billion of the stimulus cash over the next couple years that can be used for virtually any purpose imaginable. Included were a raft of line item vetoes, as well as announced withholdings of a number of notable projects. A roughly $31 million allocation for the Ellis-Fischel Cancer Center is included in the withholding zone, which means the project will be in limbo until the governor's office decides to release the funds. Nixon's move elicited some serious scorn. System President Gary Forsey said he was disappointed with Nixon's decision-making, while Senator Kurt Schaefer of Columbia dubbed the withholdings as devastating. In explaining his decision, Nixon said he wanted to keep money on hand for future budgetary years. States like Illinois, New York, and California are going through budgetary Armageddon at the moment, something that the Democratic governor seeks to avoid. On the one hand, Nixon could be compared to a cautious gamer who decides to abstain from wagering even as his friends decide otherwise. After all, revenues are projected to be far lower than predicted, and potentially controversial decisions now could forestall even starker choices down the road. But Republicans have argued that stimulus money could be used for so-called one-time construction endeavors, like the Ellis-Fischel project. Not only would the allocation potentially spur construction and development, but it's an expenditure that would have minimal commitment when the stimulus fountain runs dry. In any case, Nixon's move is showcasing the governor's strength in the face of a Republican legislature. It may force the GOP to come to some sort of funding compromise to make sure their projects that were withheld succeed. Until then, Nixon's play-it-safe attitude has the upper hand. I'm Jason Rosenbaum.
That'll do it for this week's Talking Politics. Thanks for listening. I'm Sarah Whitmire.